Hello and good afternoon or good evening or whatever, depending on when you're watching. But thanks for clicking on to join us for part 1 of our tour of Northern Ireland and the Causeway Coast. So we'd all met up Wednesday at midday, Sixfields McDonald's on the edge of town, just waiting for Connor to turn up, but at least the weather was being kind to us. So we're all loaded up and ready to go. We'll be heading up the A5 and the A444 before our first stop off for fuel at the Appleby Park Services.
Been a telephone ride today at the old A5. Now we're off to Northern Ireland.
So on with our journey, northwesterly up the A50 with no problems, and we'd made good time past Stoke and Nantwich. So we pulled in for a leg stretch and refreshments at Snugbury's Ice Cream Farm along the A51. Snugbury's is a lovely little stop off point for some light refreshments on a nice day. They offer a really impressive array of dairy ice cream in many flavours. We've already got about 110 miles under the belt so far today, and it's just 30 miles to go past Chester and on to Birkenhead for our ferry. We've now hit the outskirts of Birkenhead and have a couple of hours to kill. So a stop off at the Royal Oak, the Hungry Horse, was in order. After a nice meal and swift half, we headed off towards the port. Just a 4-mile ride over Tower Wharf and past the Alfred Dock. And we arrived at the Stena Line Birkenhead ferry terminal. Where our adventure was really set to begin. our ship, the Stella Embla, was waiting for us. After a short wait, we were soon checked in and on board, with the scooters all ratcheted down, ready for crossing the Irish Sea. We dumped our kit into the cabins and we were soon on our way, enjoying snacks and a few beers long into the night as we headed across to Belfast. Although some of us enjoyed Stena Line's hospitality a bit more than others. Well, there's a few blurry eyes around this morning. I think it was about 1:30, possibly 2 o'clock even, before people retired to their cabins last night. And I think it's fair to say that a couple of them were a bit worse for wear. About an hour ago, we had a rude awakening by the ship's tannoy system at bang on 5:30. So I've just had time to get my stuff together, had the chance to grab a coffee, loaded the bike up, and now it's time for us to disembark. The weather outside is a bit misty and miserable, and the deck of the ship is a bit slippery. So let's hope that everybody's got their wits about them, as we don't want any dramas this early on in the trip. Apparently, or so I've heard, there was a bit of an accident in one of the cabins overnight. Rumour has it that someone has had to clean out the inside of their crash helmet. Not entirely certain what that's all about, but perhaps we can find out later. We've all arranged to rendezvous at the first opportunity on the left, outside of the ferry terminal, where it's safe for us all to pull in and regroup.
That's our boat there, isn't it?
Steve, you're on camera. Tell us about your night's experience.
Oh, mate. I woke up a bit but kind of spewed everywhere the
As soon as we'd all regrouped, we set off on our way to the Shore Road area of Belfast in search of some fuel and some breakfast. After a McMuffin and a full bean coffee, we had a quick check of our guidebooks. The first of our planned places to call in on and take a look at was just a short ride to the Belfast Castle and Gardens. we headed out of Belfast on the Shore Road. Our journey up the Causeway Coast had begun, following the A2 through Carrickfergus with its impressive castle and the Churchill tank on the roadside beside the Carrickfergus War Memorial. We carried on and rode under the Black Arch Tunnel towards Larne, following the A2 along some stunning coastline, until we took a break to stretch our legs and make use of the public toilets at Drains Bay. The weather was a bit misty, but it didn't damp our spirits as we pressed on with our journey. Here's all the crew coming along one by one, with Sue and Kay in the support bay never far behind. They've all just passed by Cairns Castle, and we're just coming up to Ballygally. And the next notable landmark on our ride this morning is the Madman's Window, a naturally created window-shaped gap in the rocks that looks out across the Irish Sea. And it's only just past midday, but we've made it for our planned stop off for lunch at Carnlough. I enjoyed a slice of nice rich chocolate fudge cake in the Twilight Cafe of Carnlough, and we were soon on our way, continuing up the Causeway Coast. Here's the group coming along now, caught on the drone, with Sarah leading the way through Glen Arif. After a fuel stop in Cushenden, we turned off the main A2 road briefly to take a wee mad road through Tor. Our next planned stop off was just north of Ballycastle for the Portrush viewpoint. It was still a bit misty, and looking out from the viewing platform we could barely make out Rathlin Island ahead, or the little tiny island of the Carrick to the left. Whilst there was nobody about, a couple of our group took the opportunity to go over and say hello to one of the locals. And on to our next stop, the National Trust site of the Carrick Reed, which is famous for its precarious rope bridge that links this tiny island to the mainland. The places of interest were coming thick and fast now. Just up the road we pulled in for photos at the Dunseverick Castle ruins. Here's the gruesome twosome, Stella Steve and Connor. That's our two female riders, Anna and Sarah. And here is the Sebster, getting in on the act. So with 76 miles covered since we got off the ferry this morning, we've had a leisurely day so far, taking in the sights. And the best is yet to come. 2 miles down the road is the one that we've all been looking forward to. It's the Giant's Causeway, one of the world's natural wonders. That's Portrush that you can see in the top left corner of the photo. We're back on the scooters and it's just a stone's throw to our destination and the end of our day's riding. We cut through Bushmills and past the old ruins of Dunluce Castle on the way into Portrush. And we'd arrived at this little seaside town that was to be our base for the weekend. After we'd checked in and washed and brushed up, we headed off for a very nice evening meal at the Harbour Bar and Bistro, followed by a couple of pints at the Keys pub on Eglinton Street, where Stella Steve had started to feel the cold. Luckily for him, the bar lady came to his rescue as she wrapped him up in a nice warm blanket, much to our amusement. Bless him, he looks like E.T.
Going home, going home.
After a hearty breakfast, 5 of us set off back on the scooters to complete the remainder of the Causeway Coast and on to Londonderry. The first stop was at Tunnel Brae. Then it was a stop off at Downhill Beach for a couple of photos and some horsing around. Fletch and Stella Steve thought it was a good idea and would be an ideal opportunity for a quick dip in the sea. They must be crazy. Here they come. Quick, cue that 70s porn star music.
Fucking hell, I'm out of breath fighting with that Irish sea.
Do you need Red Bull, Steve?
I need something, mate. I thought I was going to die.
Next stop for us was just up the Bishop's Road for the Gortmoor viewpoint. This is the view that we could have had on a clear day, but it was really misty again and we had a job to even see across the road. Never mind, time for some snaps with the monument. We linked back up onto the A2 for a half-hour's ride, 23 miles to Londonderry, and completed the Causeway Coast route.
How we doing? Just had a great ride. We come from the beach area on the coast, come into Londonderry, and we found this, well not found this, we come to see this fantastic artist impression of the Derry girls. So absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
That's Sarah on her Lambretta with the old city wall behind her. And we moved off down the road and parked up at Waterloo Place to find some lunch. We decided to take the A6, B190 and the A29 route back to Portrush, completing a 90-mile loop for the day. However, taking the shortcut up the B190 proved to be a fatal mistake.
What do you reckon, Steve?
As we turned off the A6 at Dungiven, the traffic was absolutely horrendous. We were at a standstill for a good 15 minutes. It was totally gridlocked. Friday evening and the gathering of the clan's scooter rally was officially underway. So we trotted off to the golf links. For the evening's entertainment in Kelly's complex. Hooking up with our old friend Andrew Owen. Enjoying the drinks, enjoying the music. Especially the live act, the ex-Stiff Little Fingers band, XSLF.
Got it. Go. On the film. Yeah.
Fire!
And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes part 1 of a 2-part video from our 2021 scooter tour of Northern Ireland. Thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed it, then be sure to hit the subscribe button to follow our channel. We hope that you can hook back up with us in a couple of weeks for part 2, the conclusion of our trip, where we take a ride through Portrush and continue our weekend at the Gathering of the Clans Scooter Rally, with the big Saturday ride out to Ballintoy Harbour. There's more stunning views and trips to the Dark Hedges, the Joey Dunlop Memorial Garden and the Titanic Quarter in Belfast. Take care, ride safe, and we'll see you soon.